What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Video dance parties and karaoke jams are my specialties. Oh, and weddings for sure. Oh, my goodness. I have so much fun at weddings. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have Greg, RoLLo WIGZ, WIGZ Records, The Big Banana, She Loves to Shop. What is all that? You're going to find out in the next few minutes, so stick around. This week's shows, I have my one public show, my usual Friday night gig. I'm at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. They have a full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables. In fact, they have a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Oh, and they got some new food on the food items. They've just been taken over by some new management and the new owners. The new owners happen to own the Italian restaurant in Conway, Arkansas. So they're bringing some good food to the Rab. Ooh, I'm so excited. I've been eating very well on Friday nights. They usually send me home with a nice plate, in addition to my gig and when I'm after the show. So I get a plate of food, from the Rab. So exciting. And then Saturday, I think I have a private event of some kind. I'm very excited about private events as well. I get to be with people at their happiest times and make them maybe even happier. How about that? All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Greg, RoLLo WIGZ. She Loves to Shop. Yeah, find out more right now. I got him on Skype. You're gonna, if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping Greg, RoLLo WIGZ now.
Right there.
Look at that. You are smarter than the machine.
Oh, wait a minute.
Look at you. You are smarter than the machine.
Okay. There. I'm ready to go.
Man, you went all out.
Can't see your face.
Go away. You're done. Your work is done here.
That's what we make little kids for. That's what we make.
She's trying to tell me. She's telling me that you can't see me.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so anywho.
My goodness, Greg, RoLLo WIGZ, artist, producer, The Big Banana. She Loves to Shop. Banana. Oh man, put those headphones back on.
These are my Sennheiser HD 600 headphones.
Wicked cool, man. Wicked cool. You look like a pro.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what a pro is?
What is a pro?
Pregnant, retarded ostrich.
I don't know, man. I get in trouble for saying stuff like that, but I'm okay with it. I'm a dinosaur. I think our breed is starting to die out, and eventually everything's going to be so PC and so eggshelled that I don't know. Can the world survive?
Well, the world is just fine. The world's going to be fine.
But the more dainty that we come, and I know that words change, language changes, it progresses. The word you just used, retarded, used to be, before that it was moron. People would say moron. And then they said, oh no, moron's bad. Let's say retarded. And then retarded's bad. Let's say mentally deficient. No, that's bad. Let's say alternatively brained, or
you're getting into politically correct territory.
Exactly. But I know that words evolve, and part of what you do is making words into music, into sounds, adding words, adding feelings. All right. When I listened to your music, and I had the feeling of Devo meets Primus, and they kind of got mashed up together and made a beautiful baby.
Well, those are always fun to hear. I've got this song called Groovin', and I was told that sounded like a Talking Heads and the Beatles had a baby type of song. If Talking Heads and Beatles had a child, it would have been Groovin'.
I agree.
Well, I'd like to talk, a little bit about the creative process, like you're alluding to.
Hit me.
And how words are a part of it, and the thought process. Or in my case, really, there's not a lot of thought process. Let it happen. I'll get some nuggets for ideas, to something that'll start it off. But there's such thing as the divine magic, that the creativity that comes from the creator thing, and if you let that happen, and you can let it happen, you'll see it. And that's what I see and witness all the time, and it's amazing.
Well, Mr. WIGZ, you got to be open to your muses, and I think that's what you're kind of alluding to. The classic, in all creatives, the classic idea has been put forth. It's a muse. It could be an angel that comes down, or a spirit of some sort that comes through. Maybe an energy flow. However you determine it. But I know that I've heard muse is the way.
Well, I think that what you get is artists who can be prolific, and the word, would be, if you're busy, if you can stay busy. I mean, the work keeps coming, the well doesn't go dry. The well of creativity, right? In my case, I can speak, I guess, only about that, but things are black and white. I observe gray, and I don't like gray, but as far as what I feel that needs to be expressed, and the type of person I am, a man of principles, I was raised that way and taught that way, that through the music that I am allowed to present, it's based on black and white. I don't dwell, and I don't believe in gray. And so observing gray, and we can go down that rabbit hole, but there's a lot to say. There's a lot of gray to talk about, or why it's gray, and the benefits of being black or white. And we're not talking about a person's skin color. We're talking about a person's virtues and the values that they live by.
Well, I'm looking, Greg, and you're in Fort Wayne, Indiana, out in the Midwest. You got Midwest values, a lot of meat and potatoes out there. Is that where you grew up?
I've always been very diplomatic. I was in between my parents as the oldest child, and they loved to banter each other back and forth, argue, if you will. And I felt a lot of times like the referee. I was the diplomat, try to keep the peace at home growing up. And I've always been a very diplomatic person. I try to see things from both sides, try to figure out, the peaceful resolution, and avoid the violence, and find an answer that way through communication. And so whatever we were just talking about, or you were just asking about, the idea is, there's a way to get things done where everybody can fairly much be happy with it if it, if you try.
Well, I mean, I mentioned that you're in Fort Wayne. I'm guessing that you grew up somewhere.
Well, okay, I know what that was thinking about. That was thinking about the conservative politics and why I brought up diplomacy and all that, because I don't have a political party of allegiance. The thing that I've studied and read about before is, I lean more towards, or I could see myself as a libertarian, and that can go back to the idea that I know the history of my family, and my family established themselves from the UK to this country in 1775.
What?
And so I got followed. Yeah, I got followed back. I'm like a sixth or seventh generation American. So I know the history, and I know the pioneer spirit, and I know how it started. And if you want to talk about stuff that's not really political, but it's important to people, and that would be where we are in the huge picture as far as financial, how we're being controlled by the central banks, and I mean they and who they are, and the cause and effect of what they do. I started studying money, the origin of money, and that led me to the origin of the Federal Reserve.
Alexander Hamilton.
Right. And the thing about it is, if you want to go back that far, which is great that you mentioned Alexander Hamilton, because his direct connection, from what I read, if I can believe it, in the history of Alexander Hamilton, ties him directly to the Bank of England, the BOE, which well, right now, anybody who knows anything about all this stuff should be like, ding, 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 ding. The Bank of England, hey, could that be the culprit of this whole mess? Could that be why the markets are rigged? Could that be why everything is the way it is? I think so.
Man, I've been worried about they since I was a little kid, and I've always wondered who they were. And, it's been put forth to me many times in a joking manner, the Pentaveret, that there's 5 people that control the whole world. I don't think it's far from wrong to think about it in that kind of a term. You think about the 1%, right. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, the middle class gets stretched out, but well,
I know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I know you've studied and you've heard about, the story of the safe house and how banks began, and, the transfer of gold and silver and credit notes exchanged, and how it all kind of blossomed from there into the modern day banking fiat currency system.
Yeah, now money is just a dream.
I got curious as to how this whole thing got started that way. So I studied it. And the reason I studied it was I obtained a job where I started making more money than I ever made, and I didn't know what to do with all the extra money. So I thought to myself, hey, you invest, how do people build wealth? So like doing this music, build my own studio, fixing my own car, working on the house, doing the add-on room, growing a beard, whatever. You do it yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah, but how do you build wealth? And the next thing you said was make music. No, not a lot of people. Starving artist is a thing that I've heard growing up as well. The very few will make it in this business. I'm glad that you're following
I never
your
took
passions.
Music seriously. I never took the music as a way to make money.
But it can be. It can be. There are those chosen few.
Not for me. But not. Well, there's people who pursue it that way. I don't pursue it. It's not a goal to me to make money, to profit out of what's given to me freely. I'm not interested in it. If people want to buy my music and they pay me $1 and it goes into my PayPal account, I'm like, cool. I've sold one song. I've done 3 albums. Yeah, 3 albums. And I've sold one song, made $1.51 through Bandcamp. And when I first sold that first song, I'm like, cool, people are starting to hear it. Maybe this is the spark that you're supposed to always get, for the flame starts to come.
Right.
Well, then I put out an album, and nothing. Nobody wanted any of it, or they didn't know about it, because I'm finding out now that people enjoy it. But the amount of people that actually listen to it is very few, because I don't put any promotion into it. I don't care. And that's really weird. People think that's weird, but at my age, I've already been a rock star. I've already partied like a rock star. I've already been through rehab. I've already been through jail time. And I mean, I've already raised hell and done the things, and it's learning experience. And I draw on it for ideas and bring it forth, and using the music, my experiences of the good and bad times.
Well, I mean, you're glossing over things. I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s. I graduated in 86. I'm guessing that we're
You're not
about
far
the
behind me.
yeah, we're about the same age. You got a little gray in your beard. I got a little gray in my scruffle here. You know, you're talking about black and white. I think we're both a little gray. So you know, walking down the left side of the street or the right side of the street, you know, political views, people, libertarian. You cannot, all right, I'd like to consider myself a libertarian as well, but you can't be a full libertarian because that's anarchy. We need some kind of rules, man. You know, so
Well, yeah,
it'd be
but,
nice
you know,
to have the government stay out of my face. But you know, we do need some kind of rules and some.
well, people need to learn how to learn again,
Yeah.
and people need to learn how to think for themselves.
For sure.
Because you know, you can sit and watch Instagram, and you can scroll, and you might see some pretty interesting stuff. My feed that I get, you know, some of it's really kind of thought provoking, you know, and you have to filter everything, you know, these days, and you have to want to figure it out. You got to want to know. And like I teach my kids all the time, Google it, learn it, find a definition. You know, when I was in the 7th grade, I wanted to fix lawnmowers. So I went to the library and I got a book on how to repair small engines. And next thing you know, I go home, I take my dad's lawnmower apart. And no, really, it was just another one that didn't work. And,
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what did he think about that? You know, you taking his lawnmower apart? Were you able to put it back together?
Well, the one I took apart, no, because I had to learn that you got to pay attention to how you take it apart so you can put it back together.
I got a Briggs & Stratton sitting right outside that has no blade on it. I need to put a blade on it, and I need to figure out whether the engine actually works. I pulled the cord on it, and it turns, but I think it might be a little frozen because it's been sitting for a while. But yeah, I got it for free.
But the point is, that's great. If you wanted to learn how to do it, then maybe you will if you want to. But nothing happens without the action. See, and we hear this all the time. If it's frustrating, you know, to see people complain and not have lives. You know, when I was a kid, if we got in trouble, go to your room. That's your punishment. Go to your room and think about it. Think about what you did or the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
Today, it's like, get out of your room. Get down here and think about what you did.
Yeah. Go outside and play. You haven't seen the sun in 5 days. You know? So,
it's weird. You know, it's like my kids, they don't like pumpkin pie.
You know, okay. We could be two old farts on this podcast for sure. You know, back in my day, we used to go and play outside. We used to ride bikes. We used to go out at 8 in the morning, and mom and dad would probably not know exactly where we were until the street lights came on. And then we'd come inside. Where were you all day? I don't know. Oh, I've been out playing.
Yeah. Oh, my mom used to tell us to hit the door, get outside and shut the door. And a lot of times, that door would be locked. You guys ain't coming back in here. And we'd be like, what are we supposed to do? You know, you go out and play. You figure it out. And sure enough, we'd go out there. And next thing you know, we're having a blast.
Oh, yeah, I figured out. Now, are you from
But now they use the excuse, you know. I mean, you know, I'm from a small town. I grew up in a small town.
Are you from Fort Wayne, Indiana? From what I understand, I have cousins.
I'm from northern Indiana.
Okay, I have cousins in Greenville, and I think I lived there when I was not even a year old. I was a little baby, but I have pictures of when I was there.
The Midwest ideas is we still have God, country, family, those kind of values, you know. But I've been to Los Angeles. I've lived in Tampa, Florida. I've been to some big places. I traveled the world when I was in the U.S. Navy. And so I came back here because this is where I called home, but I could have lived anywhere. And I've traveled extensively in my 20s and my 30s.
Well, tell me about it, Greg. Where you been, man? You know, what did you get from all the places that you've been? I'm from Miami. You know, I grew up there. I left there when I was 40, and here I am in Central Arkansas. I married a hillbilly, you know, and it's working out okay. And, you know,
sure, nothing wrong with being barefoot.
Yeah, it's working out okay. But
well,
you know,
I learned that there's alcohol wherever you go. You can find alcohol anywhere.
But where have you been, man? You know,
when you're in Southern California, do not go to Tijuana. I learned that Hawaii is nice. I learned our government is pretty screwy, that they don't know what they're doing. But, you know, that kind of go figures, I mean, you get too big like that, and nobody really knows what's going on.
Well, I mean, growing up in the 70s, I always heard, all right, the Democrats are going to try to help the people, but they're going to take money from the middle class. And the Republicans are going to try to help the corporations, but they're going to take money from the middle class. Everybody's going to rob from the middle class to give it to somebody else. The Democrats will rob from you and give to the poor, and the Republicans will rob from you and give to the rich, to the corporations.
Yeah, well,
it's tough, man.
You don't want to think too much about it, because really, you think too hard, it'll give you a headache. And
It does.
I mean, because like we said, we talked about Alexander Hamilton, and how he basically represented the Bank of England in the early U.S. Continental Congress, and the ideas of how they were going to set up the first U.S. Treasury, and his ideas and things that that I need to learn more about to really talk about. But the idea is the monetary system was being controlled by the already wealthy to-dos, the merchants at the time. And you can see how early government expanded west, and why'd they fight so hard for New Orleans? Why'd they fight so hard the War of 1812? And why was it? Because they wanted more and more of the natural resources, not the pioneers, not the people that they were given free land to go out there and give up their blood, sweat, and tears to clear and push the Indians out of the way. And so the idea of greed and profit, made it what it is. And I don't know of any civilization, empire, that hasn't been imperialistic, where they want more and they push for more and they take more. And so the whole history of the United States, you can be a patriot and be brought up saying the Pledge of Allegiance and, love your country and have family that died for it, And yet, we're at this point in time where now we can look back and we can say, what a blowjob, what a big pile of shit and a big line of hooey we've been given this whole time, where it was all about profiteers and lining the pockets of the political thing, whatever it is, the they, which we know who the they is, but the whole idea of good and evil. And the fact that it was evil, and it still is evil.
Yeah, that's troublesome. When people get involved, that's what happens. Is you get a little bit of power, you get a little bit of money, and you want more power and you want more money. When is it going to be enough? When is enough? Some people are so ambitious, they want all the money and all the power.
But the thing that can kind of blow your mind is, like, no single generation actually sees the completion of this push or this desire to conquer. I mean, you can go back to the 15th century and say, what were they called? The New India Trading Company or whatever. World globalization's been around for a while, Oh, yeah. But nobody really, who actually benefits from this? The guys that were doing it 100 years ago, they're all dead. The guys that were doing it 200 years ago, greed, people that were taking what they didn't deserve to have and all that, they're all dead. They passed on their family. They're all a bunch of greedy bastards. They learned from their parents. I don't know, but who actually who gets the prize? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so here we are today with, 40 generations later or 400 generations later, because this goes back a long ways.
Right.
And I want to go back to the idea of don't play the game. The only way to win in this game is don't play it.
Well, I mean, all we can do is take care of our own family, our own front yard. If everybody sweat
you have to have something to guide you in your life. You have to have, a moral compass. You have to have a belief, a faith, and you got to decide which side you're on. Because as far as black and white goes, right? Black and white goes, you're either on the black side or on the white team. And if you're, in the middle, then you're back to gray, which, unfortunately, that's.
Why does it have to be about teams, though? Why does it have to be teams? I've been told that, by my father-in-law, I got to choose a side, but you talked about diplomacy. Even though you are on this side, you could still talk to the other side and kind of convey
Well,
your you can convey your ideas.
Well, sure, yeah. And when you're confronted with a challenge, a decision, right? And this is what people need to know how to do. You got to learn how to make decisions too. As a producer and making music, you're making thousands of decisions every hour. You know, do I want this much here? Do I want that much there? What am I hearing? And it's like, painting this picture. I want a little more color here, a little less here, a little louder, a little softer, a little further, whatever. So in the process of seeing something from start to finish, there's a million decisions involved. And a lot of people don't have that talent, that skill, because they've never been taught to do it, or they weren't held responsible when they were young. And when you're held responsible for your actions, you got to make decisions. And when you make the wrong ones, like I used to do, a lot of them, you get in trouble with the law. You hate yourself. You got people that don't want nothing to do with you anymore. You can really feel like a turd, right? So when you start making the right decisions, like my mom told me when I was in my 20s, and I was like, all I did was party, and hang out every chance I had. Mm-hmm. She told me, you start living right, things start going right. And, you already know that, but until it finally, you hear it for the whatever amount of times, and it's like, ding, okay, all right. So that's like the truth, right? You hear somebody gives you like this is just the way it is, man. There's no two ways about it. You do the right things, you're gonna get the right results.
Well, Greg, you're alluding to that you've had some trouble in your youth, your reckless youth. I think I was a pretty good kid. I think I stayed out one time all night long. I think I was 16 or 17, a senior in high school, and I stayed out all night long. Ooh, that was my big rebellion. And no drugs, no alcohol. But
I never tried to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Whatever I did, my anger as a young man, after my parents divorced, after I couldn't keep the peace no more, the gloves came off, I guess, for them. And they were saying all along, once we get you kids old enough, we're done. And that's really what happened in my family. When I was 19 years old, my parents said, it's gone, it's over, we're done. And you're on your own.
Wow.
And my mom moved to Ohio, and my dad moved somewhere else. And it's like, well, I'm not going to go stay there. I'm not going to go stay there. So basically, I wasn't on the streets. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but basically, yeah, I was make my own decisions, make my own way.
Yeah, but you see the big picture. They did what they were supposed to do. They raised the kids. My dad left before I was born.
At the same time, you raise cattle with a cattle prod, and you're going to get a bunch of angry beef.
I've been told all my life, do the right thing. And I think that they did the right thing. At least they stayed
what's right for you, seeing what's right for me.
Right.
Those can be different things too.
That's true too.
But there's no escaping that there are things that are healthy and things that are unhealthy.
Right.
And health goes into physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. All these areas of a person's your persona, need to be satisfied, need to be well fed, taken care of, and so anyway, life is an experience. It's a journey. It's not a destination. Just like doing this music, I don't have a destination or a goal that says, okay, Dan, as of this time next year, I want to have 1,000 Spotify followers, that may take 5 years at the rate I'm going.
Yeah, but it'd be nice. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You're taking the time to put this out.
What matters to me is I meet people and I can talk with people and I get to know them a little bit. And of course, then they get to know me, and that's what it's about. If this whole thing of the virtual community,
Yeah,
it only goes so far, but without a real community, when times get tough and there is no virtual nothing because it don't exist, and it could be a temporary thing or whatever, it doesn't matter. People are going to be like, oh my God, what do we do?
Yeah, you're going to be going outside like newborn babies, seeing the sun for the first time. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
yeah.
What is that?
What it means to
Going
survive
outside.
would be a different thing.
Yeah. If the Walking Dead, the apocalypse does happen, how many will survive? Can you grow your own food?
Unfortunately, we laugh now, but we're experiencing the pinnacle of the golden era of civilization.
Mm.
And you're a very smart guy, because I know you must talk to a lot of people. So you're familiar with peak oil. You're familiar with, a bazillion conspiracy theories. And out of all those bazillion theories, you take and pick, like we were saying earlier, of some that are more plausible. Like, I'll tell my wife something that I think's right. I believe it. And she'll say, "Where'd you hear that?" Internet. And what are your sources? Where they come from? What are you talking about? Like FTX. What? Who? What? How many billions? What? No. What?
Well,
and
yeah. Now
so you never know. You never know. Like, this thing about the election and Trump and all that. He was cheated. It was rigged. Hey, I call him as I see him, and I my take on it is, there's something really wrong with that Democratic Party. But on the other hand, there's a lot of rhinos, and we know what that means, right?
No.
Rhino, Republican in name only.
Oh, I got you.
You familiar with that? Okay, here, I apologize if I assume that you know what I'm talking about. So if you don't know, you just got to tell me.
No, treat me like a 5-year-old. I'm enjoying this, man.
Well, back to the idea that our society is governed by greed, by evil, by a perpetual, festering. It's going downhill really quick. It's really.
You think
social values? The whole thing is falling apart faster than anybody realizes.
I think that there's people that try. They'll start off as community organizers, and they'll have a heart that is pure, and they'll try to do good, but eventually they're going to get corrupted. And the farther up the chain they go, they're going to get more and more corrupted. They're going to get money from these interest parties, and it's just going to corrupt them. My goodness, man, we could definitely it raises my blood pressure to think about.
It should.
How the government it's not doing what it's supposed to do. On paper, right, it's perfect, but with people involved, that's where it starts to get corrupt.
Well, yeah, because the way it's supposed to be, government's supposed to be transparent, and the people are supposed to be in charge and decide what happens, what goes on. And so you think about these wars, and you think about, our military getting involved anywhere. And American people didn't say they want to do that. American people didn't say, "Hey, I want my son's ass out there and getting shot at, and I want to. You can have him. We didn't want him anyway." No, that's not what they're doing. Mm-mm. So it's just all happening. What really blows my mind is how passive people are. Oh my God, what's it going to take before people finally say, "You know what? It has to come to your front door, I guess." Vans start pulling into your driveway and pulling you out of your house, and they're burning and looting, and because it's all being done. We're at war right now.
Oh, for sure.
American people are under attack,
mm-hmm.
and it's economic warfare.
Mm-hmm.
It's social behavioral warfare by the lewd, crude beliefs and perverted ways of thinking that are being put out and into the music and into the schools and through television and PBS, and it's there. And I asked myself, who is doing this? How can this be possible? This whole conversation about, can you define a woman? Nobody can define a woman anymore. Well, I can when I put my hands on her.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I know what a woman is. I know what a man is,
Right. But the Webster, dictionary, you open it up but that doesn't matter. This whole cancel culture.
Yeah.
It is a cancer, but no, cancel culture.
I think you were Freudian slipping, and you slipped properly. It's tough, man.
Yeah, well,
Boys,
I get passionate about stuff.
Look, Lou
I
Reed
love talking shop.
Lou Reed said, "Boys will be girls and girls will be boys." That's been around for a long, long time. It's just going to the nth degree now. You know, to
Right.
where,
If I was serious about making it in music, Mark, you can quote me on this.
Yeah.
And if I would have decided years ago that I was going to make it in music, or I don't even know what make it means. I wanted to be talked about, or I wanted people just to, I don't know what the desire to have any of that crap is, but I would have been a drag queen.
Oh yeah, David Bowie, Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson. Even Madonna going back and forth.
Right.
You be androgynous. Marilyn Manson. You be androgynous. You be gender fluid to appeal to the masses.
You see me now. I'm pretty radical. I have a beard, and I'll tell you the way I think, and it's strange. It's definitely something that I'm not talking about me being strange. Well, maybe so, but no. The observations, it's just sad. We were talking about growing up in the 70s or whatever. Mm-hmm. When I was young one time, I was 8 years old, and my grandma and my dad and everybody, we went to our aunt's house for something. My aunt, her daughter, my grandma's daughter, and they're getting out of the car, and they were all talking about these mini skirts. This was in the late 60s, by the way.
Okay.
And how grandma was all up in arms about this disgusting. That is terrible. Why would a girl, because modesty in the Victorian era and all that good stuff, the way she was brought up, and from the Bible point of view, from a Christian point of view too, the ideas, it's provocative and it gives men ideas that they don't need to have, so you don't dress like that, right? And that way,
yeah.
It's like that thing,
But you can go too far. The Middle East where they cover.
You put a woman and a man in a pickup truck, and the devil's right there between two of them. You ever heard that?
I have not, but I like the saying.
So grandma's complaining, making a big thing about these mini skirts. Mm-hmm. And I was 8 years old, so I'm just starting to become like sexually aware, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're girls, yeah. And I was 8 years old, but so anyway, I know what you're saying, right? And so I turned to my dad and I'm like, I don't understand. Just like with alcohol, I didn't understand. If this stuff is bad and hurts people and it's wrong, why do they make it? Simple question. Why do they make it?
Well, they tried to take it away back in the 30s, and that didn't work out so well. We're humans.
That was political too, and that was BS. But no, why do they do it? Greed, money.
If you can make money from it, for sure. Yeah.
Well, so anyway, you want to know me a little bit? A couple years later, I was probably about 12. And I was close with my dad. He was a musician also. My dad played music and was a good guitar player. And I was talking to my dad about how disgusted I was. Why is there wars? Why is there so much? This would be such a great place, to live. Beautiful. I mean, because we like the outdoors and the woods, and we used to hunt and go out, and enjoy the outdoors. And I asked my dad, I said, why things like this? Why do people kill each other and steal and maim? And I mean, it blew my mind. I couldn't understand anybody doing that. I mean, how could you do that to another person? How could you? I just don't get it. And I told him I didn't like it. And my dad told me, if you don't like it, do something about it. Change it.
Many songs were written about that. And that's what you can do with your music, is you could change it. You could change minds.
Believe how many years?
But my goodness,
it took a long time before I realized that, I could do something about it.
You can. And your dad was a guitarist.
No, I can't. I mean, how can you do something about it? You'd have to be like King Kong,
Yeah, but
you'd have to be able to grab things by the neck and iron fist the son of a bitch.
Not by force. That's what wars are, man. That's what, generals who don't get hurt, that sit way back behind the enemy line, sending these, 18, 19-year-old boys and girls into combat. But, you don't have to heavy fist it. You can do it lightly, man. The stick or the carrot, right? You can give them the carrot.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Ah, yes. I saw that on SNL with the it was the Jeopardy game, and there was Sean Connery, and he says, "I'll go with the penis mightier," and it was the pen is mightier.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
He's
That was hilarious. But anyway, I digress. I'm talking.
Well, these are just some things here and there that I had happen in my life. My other grandfather on my mother's side was visiting one time when I was at this impressionable age, 8, 10, 9 years old, whatever it was. And he takes me off the side, and he has this serious grandfather-son talk with me about, Greg, I want you to listen to me, and I don't want you to ever forget this. When you talk to a man, you look him in the eye, and you tell him the truth. And when you shake someone's hand, you shake it firm. Okay? And you do the best you can and be honest with people. And you got to watch out, too, for people that will lie to you and people that take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. But that was his message. That's what he wanted to give to me. And I didn't see him that often because he lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
But I thought, wow, that's heavy, man.
Yeah, but that's what you took away from that old man, and that's beautiful that you can. That's
I was a kind of a weird kid. I believed things adults told me. When I was in school, when I was at home, my parents told me shit. People tell me stuff like that. I believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, hey, you're the adult. You've been around. You've got the authority. I believe it.
Well, that's the dynamic with adults and children, man. Children should be believing what adults say, even if we are full of crap, some of the time.
Yeah, right. Of course, as we know, there are some of those that are carry more credential. There's a bunch of bullshitters out there too. That if I could go back in time, there's some adults I'd like to put on their ass.
Well, as parents, we do the best we can, man. We find out more and more that we don't know what we're doing sometimes, man. But hey, we got to be authoritative and try to train our children the way we can.
I was taught to be respectful of adults, right, wrong, indifferent. If it came from an adult, I didn't backtalk. I showed them the courtesy and respect, and the kind of respect we're talking about. It's just like I would give to women, or I give to people I meet, whether it doesn't matter what culture they're. I mean, I've had some good friends that are Mexicans. I had some good friends that are African Americans. I've had good friends from the Philippines. I mean, I don't look at that shit. Once I get one, if you're cool and you respect me and treat me like, give me my space and respect my space, then of course I'm doing the same thing with you. And if we start talking and, we find the universal language, just have fun. Mm-hmm. And we can joke and we can see things together. And then while we're together, we're probably making life better for both of us.
Yeah. Don't hate people or love people for the color of their skin or their creed. Love them or hate them silly. on an individual basis. Absolutely. You take people at face value and you try. I'm having a good time chatting with you, man. I'm learning more about Greg RoLLo WIGZ. RoLLo. Where's RoLLo from?
Okay, I'll tell you the story quickly behind RoLLo.
Please.
Before I started the She Loves to Shop brand.
Yes.
Because, everybody should understand that I'm an artist producer. I play all the instruments. I write the songs. I put the studio together, so I record everything. I mix it myself. I learned to master it myself. So the whole product, if that's what you call it, from start to finish, goes from up here to out there. Okay? And I learned all this as time went on, because I seek the knowledge and I studied, blah, blah, blah. And the music's been with me for a long time. And the desire to write songs was a big part of it. I mean, I used to play in bands and do the party thing, rocking 80s, and we did the whole gig bar scene thing, and all that. Yeah. And so anyway, groupies, drugs.
How many instruments are you playing?
Well, I can play whatever. You give me an instrument, I'll figure out how to play something on it. Right. I mean, I would never become a prodigy, or I'll never be a master. I'm a jack of all trades. Well, but I have been playing guitar the longest.
No, there's more to that saying. A jack of all trades and a master of none. It's better than a master of one. So there's more to that saying. Okay. It's really a good thing to be a jack of all trades. So like example of like a harmonica. I've got a bunch of harmonicas
that I keep underneath the desk here. And every blue moon, I get a song. I say, you know what? I think I'm going to do something with the harmonica for the fun of it. So I pull out a harmonica and I start thinking, oh, what key do I want this? I don't know. I've heard that when you're in major key, you want to play the harmonica that's a third away from it. So in music, what that would mean, and I'm not real good on theory either, but like if I'm in the key of A, then I might want to play in the key of, I don't know, I'm guessing B flat or something. I don't know, D, or that'd be a fifth maybe. I don't know, but or fourth. But what I'm saying is, I know there's something you're supposed to get you on your way, right?
Well, you're impressing the heck out of me just even saying these words, putting these words together. Did you go to school for any of this?
Well, other people out there who speak of the music stuff would say, oh yeah, you got that wrong. But basically, I get a harmonica and I find it and I'm like, hey, okay, that sounds right, so maybe that is. And the beauty of the digital audio workstation is the editing. Digital editing is just I don't know how to express it. It's great. You can do anything with digital editing,
Oh, I'm using Cool Edit right now, and I'll do the audio on Cool Edit on Adobe Audition, I guess is what it is now.
So I take the harmonica and I'll start playing along. I'll jam along with my track, and I'll just jam for 3 or 4 minutes. Just let the thing go. I don't stop. I don't punch in. I don't do nothing. I just play the harmonica, and when I get to a part where I think I want it to go, I've been kind of practicing before I get there maybe, and so once that part comes up, sometimes for the second or third time, if it's a chorus, whatever, then by that time I've kind of like got an idea practiced up, so when I get to it, I'm like, okay, I've got it right this time, really. And then when it goes time to edit it in, I'm like, oh, my timing's terrible. I'm so late here. I'm early. So then you can start moving stuff around. You can slice and dice, and I mean, I learned the things where you can stretch the clips, make them shorter. It's really fun with vocals too. You can take certain words and say, I want that word just to be a little longer, or a whole phrase. I want it to. So anyway, you learn a few of these things, and you can start really doing a lot with them. So yeah, play the slide guitar. I play a little slide guitar, You give me a little practice with the track, I'm going to come up with a part that works, and then I edit it in, and they're like, man, that guy knows how to play a hell of a slide guitar. Right. Asked me to come to your jam session. I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, I dropped it. Fell off my finger. Where'd it go? I did that one time with a glass slide.
Oh, yeah.
It fell off my finger, and we were in the garage and hit the concrete.
Oh, no.
Well, I guess we're not playing any more slides.
Guess we're not doing slide today. Anybody got a pill bottle on them? Or anybody?
Yeah. Well, you go over to the workbench and you grab one of them 5/8 sockets, one of them deep wells.
Yeah, will metal work as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah, metal's good. Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that, man. See, you do know something about instruments, and that impresses me even more. If all of the instruments that you're playing on your songs that I've been listening to on your YouTube page, if all of those are played by you and you're putting them all together, you are a producer, a musician. Man, that impresses me to no end, bro. And
you've heard,
you got little pieces.
Heard Wackadoodle.
Yeah, you got little pieces of sound effects and
there's
voices that come out
it's
anywhere.
funny.
These are choices.
Well,
it's not just a guitar.
The lady.
Go ahead.
The lady who sang the opening part of Wackadoodle.
Yeah.
That collaboration, and she's from the UK, and I met her through the Twitter community, and she's got a great, hilarious, humorous personality and does great songs on her own. She's got her own producer, songwriter in her own right, multi instrumentals, and she told me she does it all on an iPad using GarageBand.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm like, really? That's awesome, Wow. I'm impressed. And so anyway, I like the way she sang, and I said, hey, would you be interested in a collaboration? And I got a couple tracks that I've never finished, and check them out. And she said, oh yeah, that'd be fun. And she'd like my material. She's heard other stuff I've done. So she was a fan, and I sent her some stuff, and she answered back. She says, well, this one's really weird. I don't know about this one. It was the Wackadoodle one. Yeah. And then she says, the other one, I think I could figure out something a lot more easier. And I told her, I said, well, just take, and Wackadoodle didn't have a name yet. It was just, I don't even know what we called it. I think we called it FAD for fuck a duck.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was called. And so she said, okay. She says, I'm out of my comfort zone, but give me a couple of days or a week and I'll get to it and see what I can do. Well, she sent me back something, and I was like, yeah, I think I could work this in. And I hadn't had any vocals figured out either for what I could do. I didn't know what I was going to do. And like I told her, I said, I'm kind of stuck on what to do. I don't know how to do this song. It's just really, it's such a weird, I mean, it doesn't have any real typical traditional type, it's just something different. Mm-hmm. So she did her parts, and I was able to do the introduction like you hear on Wackadoodle, where she does her thing. And the music was already like that with the organs and the stuff going on pretty much. And then at the ending, or toward the end, that second part is basically the same musically first part, but it's just using a different approach to the instruments. I mean, if you put it under an analyzer, you'd see that the music's exactly the same as far as the notes and the chords and the everything. It's just that the opening part, it's using like an organ, and then it's using like electric piano or something type of thing with some rotary Leslie type sounds on it. And then toward the end, the second part, it's the same identical music, but instead of being organs and stuff, it's just different instruments playing the same thing.
Well, I mean, anyway, it's well produced. We're kind of listening to it in the underneath here. It's well produced. Can it be? It almost makes it impossible, but not. It makes it improbable, but not impossible to reproduce it live. What do you do when you want to take this on the road? Are you planning on taking it on the road?
Well, that takes a lot of energy, and everything I do, I call my own shots because there's nobody else telling me I can't. Because right. I make all the decisions. And if I was to do it live, there would be some compromises on what you could pull off and what you couldn't pull off. But I love playing live. And rock, a rock show or a concert type thing, it's very energizing. And I know of my personality from what I've done in the past. When I step on a stage, I'm a different person. The altar or the persona, the performer, entertainer steps up, and it's like saying when the band practices, I can't play with crap half the time. It's like I don't know, I forget the stuff, or I'm just like, I'm not inspired. I'm a very inspirational person. When I play inspired in the moment and in the heat of the battle. And certain things I've recorded, like my lead guitar stuff, I never practice those leads. And some of my best ones are just like one take. I'm just inspired, and I'm telling myself, this is it. We're going to step on it, and let it go. And then I'll do it, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I just play? Could you play it again? I don't think so. I don't even know what I did.
Are you
kind of getting that thing that just kind of comes over, and it's like.
Are you improvising the whole time, or do you have music, lyrics and music sheets in front of you? Do you read music?
No. Some songs I'll have prepared, like I'll already know the lyrics. Other songs, I don't know the lyrics until I record them. I'll have bits and pieces, and this is where editing comes in. It's beautiful. I can do one line, lift that part and put it in another part, and it works. And then you can manipulate it in a way where it does. And some examples of a improvised guitar lead is the first song on the album, Profanity. The song is called Not Mad.
Okay. That's
got a guitar solo in it that's kind of long, and that's played with the Telecaster with the neck pickup. And I was feeling like it's like channeling a Stevie Ray Vaughan vibe or something, And I've done that before once in a while. I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. I like Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, and that kind of southern bluesy rock stuff. So when that song was time to do that lead, I didn't know exactly what I was going to play. I didn't know what I was going to play, but I had the inspiration, and I've listened to the song so many times. I knew all the dynamics of it, how I wanted it to work out. So yeah, I just got on now and let it rip, And then when it was all said and done, I went back through and like, yeah, my timing here could be moved a little bit. I could make it more right if I take this phrase and move it over a little bit here, But
Greg, you're doing this alt rock but you're making it like jazz, man. It becomes an
That's the
experience.
influences.
No, it becomes an experience for the people in the room. If you got 100 people, if you got 1,000 people, if you got 20,000 people in front of you, those
Well, yeah,
people
they can
are going to get
recognize it.
something different. They're going to get something different than anybody else in the whole wide world. So unless somebody is recording that performance, nobody else is going to get that exact performance. I've heard of artists like this. I've never had the pleasure of talking to an artist like you that goes
it's
in
like the word genius. Okay.
with the, oh, okay.
I've had the word genius thrown at me by people that listen to my earlier stuff. You know, like, damn, Greg, you're blankety blank genius. You know, you did this song. I did this song like in 2 days, right? That's how long it took me to record it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't buy into that because I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm just the person. I'm just the instrument. I'm just the flesh. You know, these ideas are just, they're given to me. Okay. And I'm lucky enough to be the receiver of this and let it out, let it go.
Well, you've been compared to David Byrne and the Beatles.
Right.
Okay. So these are people that have been called genius as well. If there's anybody to be compared to, Paul, John, David Byrne, for sure.
Oh yeah. There's
for sure.
Kurt Cobain's big one. I mean, there's a lot of them. But the thing is, the best thing that's happened to me with the Twitter community is I've met people I could talk with that do the same type of thing, have the same potential talent, have the same understanding of it. So, because before I really got this Twitter community going the last year and a half, I was all alone. I was making this music and people, my family, everybody's like, God, that's some weird shit you got there. They look at me like, oh, and they walk and turn their back on me like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, you keep trying, though, and keep trying. Maybe one day you can sing, and maybe you shouldn't sing. Maybe you should just make instrumentals. And so I got the Twitter right, and I'm very apprehensive about how weird this stuff is, especially my first album, the debut thing, and that's when I was cutting my teeth on what I could learn in the studio. A lot of experimentation going on in the first one because, I was doing sound effects. I was doing weird stuff just because I could, and to make it interesting. And I was making this weird music, but I kind of understood it, I was kind of like, yeah, I know why this is there, why that part's doing that. And so anyway, I get to Twitter and people start listening to it. And I keep hearing, this shit's really weird.
It is.
In a good way. We like it. It's good in a weird way.
Yeah.
And it's utterly unique, and
well, it's music to listen to while you're, skating. A skateboarder would love it. Some of the kids that are out there, maybe they eat lunch by themselves on the stairs.
Well, I wish people would listen to it like an album, or where you got the time. You don't have to focus on everything I'm saying or every musical nuance, but the idea of a one song thing, I guess one song might pull them in and say, okay, hey, this artist, this person's got something going on here that I want to know more about. Or it's like food, hey, that tastes good. Let's get some more of that, right? So you want to bring them in somehow, to get people to listen and become, active fans, not just a passive fan, And so the idea is to do a concept album where it's like a book or whatever. It's like a movie where you start at the first and the one song kind of goes to the next. This is something we learned from back in the day playing live. You want to keep them on the dance floor. Rule number 1, my dad taught us as boys, my brother and I, we were playing as kids, never let them get off the dance floor. Once you get them off their chairs, you keep them on the dance floor.
Yeah, but the bartender needs to have something to do too. So you got to play something slower to let them go back to the bar.
Yeah, that's when you take your break, a little pause for the cause. And so there's a way to do it. It's like working the crowd, like if you're a comedian, the timing of your jokes and everything. And I played guitar, and we had a lead singer who was like our MC who chuck and jived and was a great entertainer. Everybody loved him. So we had a good little combo going there for a couple of years. And that's the key, though. We would do we didn't even use song lists anymore. We started out like with a set list,
Uh-huh.
And then as we grew and we knew what we were doing, we didn't even need set lists because we just knew what song should be played next. And we would talk to each other. Like I'd go over to him while we're playing, and I'd say, "Hey, let's do that song let's do that. Give me some love, ZZ Top next." And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, good call." And then while I'm playing or something, I might step up, take a little, crowd in. He'd go back to the drummer and say, "Hey, we want to do give me a little, do whatever we're gonna do. And he's like, he's got it. He says, okay. So when the song finishes, you do the big concert ending, the big back in the 80s. That was everything ended like bam,
like a Pete Townsend, like the Who. Wow.
Right. So we would know. And when you're in a live band, and if you're pausing around and hesitate, they're going to walk off. And then you got to start all over again to get them back up on the dance floor. Some songs, it's unpredictable, but some songs seem to work better than others. But then again, I've seen some nights where we would play something and you'd think nobody's going to, this is just one of those songs we do because we like it. And nobody dances to this song for some reason. Can't understand it. We all like it. We jam it good, but they just sit there. Then there's other nights they get up and they're like, holy cow, they came to party tonight. It's like your Saturday night crowd versus your Friday night crowd. Complete different kind of crowd.
You better believe it, man. I mean, but there's people that hopefully if they came to see a She Loves to Shop show, they came with the idea that they're going to dance. They're going to have some fun. They're going to have an experience. It's not going to be exactly like the album. They're going to have something that they can take home that nobody else outside of that room got to experience, man. And you're giving it to them. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Well, it's like the way you approach things anyway. It's just real. You just kind of keep it real. I mean, this thing of wearing makeup or extravaganza, that's just not the style, I mean, I was like you were, always blue jeans and t-shirts, and
but
grow
you
your hair
have
out if you could.
You have built a persona. You got the beard, you got the sunglasses, you got the hat. That's your uniform, at least
I know, but I take it off, I take a shower and stuff, I don't wear, I take, yeah.
Wait, you take a shower? Oh, okay. This is
this
is a whole new.
I wear a shirt probably 3 or 4 days in a row. Well, yeah, and my kids, they tease me. They say, "Dad, why do you wear these clothes that are all your shirts are all holes and tore up?" And I said, "Because I get my money's worth out of this shirt. I don't wear it till I can't wear it no more." I mean, I got one on right now. I don't know if you can see it or not. Where's it at? That's my guitar shirt.
Hey, it's a guitar shirt. That's beautiful.
My Jimi Hendrix shirt. You got to see my Jimi Hendrix shirt. It looks like I should be out. It's be in the garage probably. It's ready for oil change.
All right, now we're talking about your regiment for cleanliness.
Yeah, well, it works because if I'm doing something strenuous or I'm doing something not pleasant smelling, like I have a barn out back, with a bunch of chickens and stuff, and if you got to go out there and do your thing with them, yeah, it's like, I think I'll bump up my shower, as needed.
Well, that lets me know that you can survive the apocalypse. You can feed yourself.
I had spaghetti earlier tonight.
No, but you got chickens out.
Wait, can you see? Is there a noodle in there somewhere?
You're grossing me out, man. Shave that thing.
I could, but I tell you what, the biggest challenge I've ever had is probably growing this beard.
Oh, it looks like it's well kept. I mean, it looks like it's
the negative energy though.
Fuzzly.
Shave that beard. Nah, it is a persona. I feel my ancestors had beards. I think. Yeah.
I believe it. All right, my man. Well, I mean, shoot, I've taken an hour of your time. We've covered a bunch of stuff, man. Well, when I was looking for you, I was looking for your different links that I can put in the show notes. The two things that I found were the WIGZ Records and the Instagram, and the WIGZ Radio Twitter, and then the SheLovesToShop.com website. I could put that in the show notes, and then I have the YouTube. I found you on Apple Music and Spotify. Any other places that you want to be found, and what are you up to in collaboration and stuff?
Tuning fork.
Okay.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Sylvester Stallone. Rocky 2.
Cordless drill. Essential studio tools. Yeah. Exactly.
DeWalt.
I wonder if you have some of this.
Oh man, no, I don't have any finishing wax. not within
wax off.
Yeah, not within hands. I always got this next to me.
Yeah, and then of course there's always well, I don't know, just a bunch of stuff laying around here, but it's my little workshop. You know?
I'm looking. You got the good microphone. You got the good headphones. Is that the studio? Is that where the magic happens?
Oh yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple. I learned to use the plugins that I acquired over time. I've learned to use a lot of. It's about sitting in this chair.
Mm-hmm.
Screen time. You've got to put in the hours. And I read somewhere it's like, you know, to be efficient, proficient, to be the best at whatever you're doing, you got to put in the 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours.
Oh. And you know that's what it is. And I put thousands of hours. Real quick, I know you said we went over time, but this is kind of fun.
Oh,
when I first started recording, I wanted to mix. I wanted to learn how to make all those sounds sound in the right place. You know, like you complimented me very nicely on that. Well, I had a feeling. I thought, you know, I've got it here. I know what different the instruments should sound like, and I've got this creativity of imagination of how to make stuff, you know, work it in and out, and kind of like, you know, conduct it, you know. So I had this problem. I didn't have any songs to mix. Mm-hmm. I wanted to learn how to mix, but I didn't have any songs. So I had to learn how to record real quick, you know. And so it's like, okay, get my guitar and just start doing stuff and putting down some stuff, you know, like a drum loop I had somewhere and a bass line, and then just kind of like try to build it into something. And then after I get it into something halfway coherent, I'm like, now I can learn to mix it, because now it's a matter of getting the balance right, getting the bass drum to sound just the way I want the bass guitar to work together. And the electric guitars, you know, not too bright, and try to get things so that everything gels, you know. And that's where the hours come in, because you got to learn all the little things you can do to keep sounds from masking each other, or they don't cover each other up. And then the mixing idea of one sound to come up, you know, and then I want to go back down during this part and work the vocals in and out and the lead stuff, and just kind of, you know, all that massaging that has to go on in a mix. Everything's getting pushed around, massaged, and, you know, a little louder here, like doing puppets. If I had some marionettes, it's like, you know, you're trying to get all this stuff going on. It's like, yeah, you dance over here a little more, don't dance, make them all, you know, jingle around.
Well, you're a rare gem, man. Not a lot of musicians can play the music, lay down the tracks, and then go back and mix and master them. You have to have a discerning ear to do that, and
right.
You're a rare find for sure.
Right. Well, it just takes practice. Oh, that you're right though. But I had to learn how to listen. When I first started doing this, you're using an equalizer, and you're looking at 300 hertz, right? What's 300 sound like? You know. Mm-hmm. And you got to learn the sounds. Like, oh, I can tell now. It's like, oh, I can hear that one. That one's got too much 3K in it, you know. And you start to learn the particulars of different instruments and different spots. You know, like something's harsh or too bright or whatever, you know. And that's where you learn about the compression, what you can do with the compressor to bring it down and push it back. And you know, words aren't always exactly the easiest to find that describes how it all goes together, but so, yeah, that's just about taking the time and having the time. And the good Lord blessed me with the ability to have a chair to sit in and the opportunity to do it. My second album, Dead, Right, and Blue, a play on words for red, white, and blue, right? Dead, right, and blue. Mm-hmm. So you could be right, but you're still going to be dead. Why? Because you got blowed. It was a blue job.
Man,
that's what that album's about.
Well, you know, watching the titles, judge a book by its cover, my dear listener, because these songs are as out there as the titles, for sure.
Well, the opening song to the Dead, Right, and Blue album is called Mother Hurt. And I didn't have a title for that song until I started mixing it and getting everything going on. And then I started hearing the title in the last verse. I was hearing, it may have been his chorus, but on the outro part, I was hearing Mother Hurt. And what I was actually singing was Mother Earth. I was singing Mother Earth, but the way the vocals were sounding, it would sound like I was saying Mother Hurt, and it sounded like it's saying Mother hurt his feelings, right? It sounded like it was saying Mother hurt his feelings, but what I was actually saying was Mother hurt his feeling. Mother Earth is feeling. And so it goes, Mother Earth is feeling fine. But when I was listening to the way the mix came and just the way stuff starts piling up on it, it didn't sound like that. And that happens a lot sometimes. I'll sing something very much the way it's supposed to be, but on playback, it's different. Like I'll tell you, you're familiar with Dead Baby Rock.
Well, yeah. But
first chorus of Dead Baby Rock, I'm saying, Dead Baby Rock, you know I love you. And then the second line, I say the exact same thing, but it sounds like Bad Baby Rock, you know I love you. It goes from Dead Baby Rock to Bad Baby Rock. And that's the way I've been hearing it ever since I've done it. But I know when I sang it, I was like, I didn't come up with Bad Baby Rock. I think that's kind of cool though. But I wish I would have thought of that, Bad Baby Rock, because that sounds a little more like, you know.
Well, that's like a little bit of that Inagata Davida in the Garden of Eden, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And what is it? ELO says Bruce, and people thought it was Bruce.
Oh, there's some songs like that. Yeah, you never really know what it is till years later. Somebody will tell you what it really is.
Misheard lyrics,
the song
man.
called Cannibal. I got it as a single, Cannibal, which is on the next album I have released called Holy Shit, the new album. But Cannibal, I didn't have a title for either until it was done. And Cannibal is just basically me saying the words animal, living like animals, living like an animal. But when I got it all mixed together and mastered, I'm listening, I'm going, sounds like I'm saying cannibal. But I'm saying animal, and then it sounds like it's going cannibal. And then I realized that's perfect. Cannibal sounds like what it should be saying, because what that song's about is basically society going into the zombie zone and people, you know, letting loose with all civility. And so living like animals basically is the downturn of a society that is civil. And so being a cannibal in that situation, it just nails it.
Yeah, just leave it ambiguous, man. I think it'll go further if people get to put their own spin on it and say, hey, I think it says this. No, it says that. And they can start a conversation about your music, man. Hey, why She Loves to Shop? I don't think we ever,
that's a good one too.
Yeah, what is that?
That goes back to the RoLLo thing.
Okay.
I think I was going to tell you about that.
Yeah.
Before I had She Loves to Shop, I didn't know what to call my thing, because I felt like I was just so eclectic, so off the wall. One time this genre, one time this, one time experimental, you know, and it was just, so I thought, well, what covers all the bases? How can I put it out there? And I was very shy and very much wanted to stay unknown. I didn't want my name out there. So I was called a Cosmic Clown. And so in my fictitious group, Cosmic Clown, I had the 4 members. I had on guitar RoLLo, RoLLo. On bass, I had Quake. I love that. And then on the drums, we had Digit, which he pronounced his name Digit. So we had the clowns, Rocco, RoLLo, Quake, and Digit.
I dig it.
My original intention was to sell this thing as like, it's this fantasy band of these 4 guys. And really, I'm the only one that knows it's not, you know, this thing in Oz where I'm the man behind the curtain. But then as this thing's coming around, it's like, no, that's, you know, you can't be like that. It's fictitious. You know, we need to just put it out there as honest and where I am now. But so anyway, the Cosmic Clown thing, I wasn't happy with it. I was just like, I got to trace it. No more Cosmic Clown, you know, and I'm still trying to write a song at this time. I'm still telling myself all this shit that I've learned to do. How come I can't write a real song? How come everything has to come out like half baked? You know, so I'm down on myself. Why can't I write a song? Certainly I can, right? I'm not telling myself.
Sure.
So it took me a long time to get that first album together. A lot of mix, remix. I mean, I'll tell you the truth right now, Dan. After I had enough songs for that album, I quit recording everything for 2 years because I was learning to mix and master, mix, remix. You know, and then to put the album together, what torture that was to get one song this level, and my songs were all out of balance, you know, and I was approaching things, you know, not knowing what I was doing. And I'd mix one song at a certain level. Then I didn't have a system yet. I didn't have a way to do it that I understood. It was just kind of like, hey, today I hear it like this, tomorrow I heard it like that, and on and on. So it took me a long time. And I actually dedicated 2 years to those same songs. And I know when enough is enough. I quit. I do 4 or 5 hours, sometimes longer, but usually 5 hours in the studio is all I can take. And now I'm real good about it. I'm like, I'm done, man. 5 hours in here, whatever I got done, cool. I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what people that have their own business need to learn how to punch a clock. You can't dedicate. You can't put your whole life in there, 24 hours. You can, but it's not good for you. Got to have that family time.
Early on, there was so much to learn that you had to, keep hitting it. It's like focus, like that laser.
Well, you wanted to get those 10,000 hours in 10,000 hours.
Right. Well, I'd get excited, and I'd wake up. The house is quiet, and I'd go out. I'd be out there 2:30 in the morning, and I had kids getting up at 6, getting ready to go to school and all that. And I was like, I get a few hours before they come out, and I get my stuff done. And that was like 12 years ago. I started that first album back in 2012.
Okay.
It was grueling. I'm telling you, it was grueling, but it didn't feel like, because this dedication to learn and excitement to accomplish it, the feeling of accomplishment. So then the second one, Dead Right and Blue, went a lot faster. I probably recorded, out of those 13 songs, I probably recorded 10 of them in 3 weeks. I knew what to do. I had my presets. I was like, bam, that's the bass guitar sound I want. Boom, I turn my dial on. I got a preset for that channel. Hey, here I am. Plug this in, turn that on. I'm live, It's not like I had to figure out, this plug in plus that plug in. You know what plugins are?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I was like, how am I going to get? I had my sound. I had my sound, so bam, it's the same thing with my guitars. I had my guitars dialed in where this is what I like right now. This is what I want.
Well, for the listener, tell them what a plug-in. Give an example.
All right, a plug-in is a virtual machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a virtual machine. An example would be, say, everybody's familiar with Echo.
Mm-hmm.
A machine that makes echo, such as an Echoplex, is a physical analog machine. And an analog means it uses electricity, and it uses the way to record is onto a tape, which is recorded with magnetic analog. It's called analog because that's how it's called. Okay, so anyway.
No, I know. Back in my day, we used to have to take one tape and then 2 tapes and kind of offset them a little bit, and that's where you get your echo.
Right. Well, analog. I want to make clear on analog. Analog is when you capture a signal and turn it into an electrical impulse. Mm-hmm. That's an analog signal. It's an electrical signal that's captured as an impulse. The electrical impulse. It's a voltage. So versus the digital. The digital is that electrical impulse is converted, right, through analog to digital converter, ADC, into binary numbers, ones and zeros, things that are captured in the computer. So it goes from an electrical pulse to a sequence of numbers, a mathematical thing. And I like math. So anyway, plugins are digital representations, things that work in the computer, software that's virtual. It's just a code that some genius figured out, which I'd love to learn that. I bet that would blow my mind, but I never did. But anyway, I know what would happen. If I could write code, I'd be Bill Gates and I would run the world.
Or you could be the auto-tune guy that came out in 93?
Yeah, but you know what? If I was Bill Gates, I could buy all the farmland. I could control the fuel, and I control the food, and I could kill people if I want. Man, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Shots fired, Bill. Shots fired.
Did I say Bill Gates? I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
He's listening.
I got the name wrong. No, really, seriously, I did. I did not mean that.
Allegedly.
That was a slip. Well, I can neither confirm nor deny that allegation.
Hey, man.
So
hey, let's close this thing up, man. I don't want this to be the last time that we chat.
She loves this up. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. The Statue of Liberty, the United States, the consumerism that runs rampant around the world. in this materialistic world. She loves to shop. Everything is driven by the sociological behavior that we've been taught to buy, 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 buy. Nobody wants to work anymore. Everybody just wants to live off freebies. So she loves to shop represents the mantra, the mindset that the United States, as the leader of the free world, is representing and preaching. And that's the thing, man. She loves to shop. That's the thing that's killing us.
Consume,
Okay?
consume.
Right. The resources are infinite or finite. I mean,
Yeah, they are
finite resources, and on and on.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening right now. Is okay. This is what's frosting me. We have to go renewable, but they've cut off all our fossil fuels, man. Before we got the renewables down. You were premature on that.
You're familiar with the New World Order.
Oh, that's been going around forever.
Well, the concept of control.
Yes.
Where a one world government controls everything. Mm-hmm. A monopoly. Well, they're push comes to shove. There's no more Trumps that they want monkeying it up. There's no more pussyfooting around. They want to depopulize the world. The population is they're going to call CULL, just like we do with too many chickens. You thin down the herd. You whatever, and they're tired of monkeying around. They've got everything, resources, everything. They can bring it right out in the open, and nobody can do anything about it. Yeah. That's what they think.
Are we going to survive the Thanos snap?
Half of us will.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the ultimate plan, man.
Or unless, of course, the whole idea of a spiritual entity, the spiritual life intervenes, which I'm counting on, which I see. So really, with your faith in the right place and your black and white understanding and the choices that you make, there's nothing to worry about. And because you realize that, like as George Harrison said about death and the body, it's like taking a suit off, This body, this is a bag of skin, we're just residing in this big bag of skin, and
he also said
really
he also said, "My sweet Lord, Hare Krishna, Hare Lama."
Yeah, I like that too. But it's everybody's choice, you do what you want to do.
We're all searching, man.
The best of luck, and hopefully it plays out well for you.
Yes, sir. All right, my man. Are you going to be doing another collaboration with Angie Kusky?
Rhymes with Husky.
Was it?
Rhymes with Husky.
Oh, okay. So it's Angie Kusky. I know you got another song coming out with her coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. Sleepy Town.
All right, my man. Is Twitter the best place to find you, or an Instagram?
Yeah, if anybody wants to chat with me, introduce themselves, that's the way to do it. I watch my follow numbers go up, like I'll see, I got 5 followers today. Then I'll look back on it, I'll look at it tomorrow and I go, hey, I lost 4 of them.
Oh, well.
And then next day I'll hey, I gained 2. Then I lost 1. So I'm thinking, these kind of people that follow you and expect you to automatically follow them back, I don't believe in that. I follow people that have something that I'm interested in, their personality, their ideas, something that they come across, that's something that catches me as interesting, just like I do for them, hopefully.
Yeah.
If people see my stuff, they're like, hey, that intrigued me. I'm going to learn about that. So just to follow back somebody blindly,
no.
It's kind of pointless. Just like, these numbers don't mean anything. 5,000 million followers and you don't talk to anybody, that don't mean anything. I'd rather have 50 followers that I know on a first name basis.
You got to have real conversations like this, even though this is kind of, at least talk to somebody. If you can't get face to face with them, we got this technology. She Loves To Shop, #2 shop.com is the place you go to find all the various songs and spots you can listen to the songs. You can buy. Can you buy the songs on the website?
Yeah,
I see for sale.
I'm really kind of reluctant to put stuff out there for sale.
Okay.
Because, why buy stuff if you don't have to? You don't need to. I mean, if you got your own personal collection, you want to put something together, that'd be cool. Like if you wanted to burn your own CDs or have music that you could take with you, that'd be cool. Like I said, I'm not about making the money. I don't care. I'm more about what music means to you, having a message that makes you think, that maybe gives you some inspiration to think more, or uplifts you maybe. Or if it puts you down in the dirt, then so be it. Get over it, pick yourself up and learn.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody miserable.
Well, that's what music can do, man. It can just change your mood. It can bring you down, it can bring you up, and hopefully it just it makes you think, man. And that's you put it out there. You got stuff on your YouTube that's at least since 3 years ago. And you put a little video to it, and that's Well,
I try to do good stuff that like makes people want to come back for more. But it's kind of depressing to think I've had something out there and I get 150 views, and that's it. Like people might think I'm really successful, but I'm not, because I don't push it, I don't promote it. I'm not going to sell myself out. I'm not going to whore my music out. I'm not going to beg people. I don't pay for people to listen to my music. I don't do none of that. I meet guys like you. I'll meet people here and there, DJs from different places, and people can say, "Oh, nobody listens to internet radio, whatever." Yeah, well,
I'm also
I just do one day
I'm
at a
also
time.
playing at the clubs too, and I got weddings and parties that I do. So yeah,
Right.
they're going to hear your
Well,
song.
the newer song you talking about, "Sleepy Town" with Angie. I just did the video up today, and I think it might be finished. And at the closing outro, I put. If you like She Loves to Shop, search the web. That's all I put. I don't put none of this. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to plead with you. I'm not going to make it super freaking easy for you. Like people are so damn lazy. Hey, if you like it, then you've got to go find it a little bit and put some effort into it. I put effort into it.
Oh, it's definitely not easy. I looked up WIGZ Records. I looked up Greg RoLLo WIGZ. I looked up She Loves to Shop. I get a lot of handbag sites on that. If I put it straight in the Google.
2 in there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you search the web and you find a lot of. That's where you really had to, I guess, because not everybody uses Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So I put out that song whip link, which people could choose if they want to use Spotify or Apple or whatever.
Sure.
But people like listening to albums, and that's great.
Yeah,
Singles,
I miss albums, man. I used to have thousands of albums. They got stolen over the years. I have 2 records left. I have Jimi Hendrix Experience and a Billy Crayon record that he just sent me. So I'm down to 2 actual albums.
That's awesome. I can see some of your stuff back there. You got some lights and some stuff. Looks kind of fun.
It is, man. It's a whole lot of fun.
So I've never really sent you anything as far as the bio. I know that you follow me on Instagram, and you were able to look into some things I put together.
Yeah.
So you get to know my sense of humor a little bit, and you get to see some of the originality that I have there. But I've never sent you actual bio, or I really kind of didn't go through the process, did I? I kind of just met you. And
I wanted this to unfold anyway. I don't like doing a lot of research on people. This is kind of a getting to know you conversation. If you want to talk anytime in the future, then we don't even have to go through all this rigmarole anymore. We know each other now, so now the next time you come up, if you have a show or if you have some new collaborations or you have some new albums that are coming out, you come back. We talk for about 20 minutes, half hour, whatever.
Well, the idea of what is success, to me, success isn't about sales or monetary success. To me, success is, which I've already gotten through my Twitter community, I've already gotten validation that I'm doing something worthwhile. And then I'm not doing something half-baked, and I'm not doing some kind of crazy crap that people can't relate to. I've been told enough times, and I got to believe people when they say they like it. And they find it interesting and they want to hear more, So that was a big hurdle that a lot of new artists, indie people have to get over, because everybody's scared to death to put themselves out there, because it's like being naked. You reveal your songs. So you're revealing your mind, your heart, and that's not easy to do. But then when you get around other people that are doing the same thing and you admire some of them, you're like, wow. And then they take you in like, hey, you're part of it, man. You're doing it. It's like, really, because I consider you like you're the best that's we got around here, and I'm getting kudos from you and stuff. So I'm like, man, that means a lot because I know you got it going on. You got talent.
Well, you got to clap for people, man.
Tell you that.
You got to clap for people. It gives them inspiration to keep going.
Right,
I like what you're doing. I want you to do more.
Oh yeah, and in this game of being an indie artist, especially, everybody deserves a green heart. I mean, anybody who's got the ambition to start doing it, no matter how amateurish or how, there's something to learn from all of this, because this person's created something. At first I'll listen to it and I'll think, oh my gosh, I'll be like, whoo, I'm telling you what, I don't that whoa. But then again, I come back and I say, you know what, good for you. I couldn't do that. And so you express yourself and you put your heart into it, and that's where it's at.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. I want to hear that new collaboration that you got going and everything beyond, man.
How do you feel about getting the pre-release? How do you feel about getting an early copy? Or like if I could get you a copy quickly.
Red Rover, send that right over.
Yeah, it may not come out for a month.
Nah, no worries, man.
I'm not in this for the money, so it don't matter to me. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to cheat myself out of all the I'll tell you what, right now, I made $1.51 out of 3.5 albums.
Yeah.
And I just do this for enjoyment. I do this because this is a gift that I have, and people I collaborate with feel the same way.
Yeah.
And that's great, I can give. I don't have to receive.
But still, some people need to make a living, and I'm glad that you have other avenues, other means of revenue. I guess.
Well, when I first started out, I went to the store and I bought an apple, and I polished it, and I went down this corner and I sold it for $1. So then I went to the store and I bought 3 more apples. I polished them up real good. I took them down the corner and I sold them for $4. And so this went on and on and on for a few months. Then I married a woman with money.
Everyone wants a sugar mama. No, I just saw something along those lines, man. You could go one place and buy a bottle of water for 50 cents. You can go another place and buy that same bottle for $4. So if you think you're not worth anything, maybe you're just not in the right place. Where
right.
you're going to get paid what you're worth. So I hope you do have success with this. All right, man. Let's take this thing. Let's take this thing home. I want to do. I always close this thing off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by. This could be something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Greg RoLLo WIGZ, the big banana. She loves to shop. Give the last words for the people.
All right, people. Love your God. Praise God with your heart, with your life. You're under the shadow of God's hand. So you got to repent and accept it. If you don't want to go that route, then you're stuck in the world by yourself. And I've seen enough that I believe. I've seen miracles. I've seen my life taken through dark places, and I've survived through it. I've seen death knock on my door, and I'm still here. So I tell the devil, hey, I'm not worried about you getting me. I'm going to chase you now. So, Satan, you've been put on alert. You don't scare me. That's it.
Well, there you have it, party people. Greg RoLLo WIGZ. She loves to shop, man. The man is even more talented than I thought he was. And he's got so much more ideas in his head that need to come out and be made into songs, into music. And he's open to collaboration. Yes. So if you want to collaborate with Greg RoLLo WIGZ, WIGZ Records, She Loves to Shop, I encourage you to do so. All the links are in the show notes. Check out She Loves to, the number 2, shop.com and find out more. Man, I look forward to talking and hearing more from Greg. Thanks for being on the podcast. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to be on the What Makes You Famous podcast, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.